Hey guys, happy What Should I Do Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, wonderful, magical Wednesday. I know I am, aside from still being in the corner. I don't even have the strength, energy, or care to get into that hot mess express, so we're just gonna leave that alone. The fact is, I'm still in the corner until further notice. That's all I'm gonna say about that, because like I said, I don't have the care to get sassy about it. My phone is finally going to be in my hands today. The phone that I was supposed to have in 24 hours, which turned into the phone that I was going to have Monday, which turned into a 30-minute phone call with my insurance company, where I had to literally stay on the phone with them and make them leave me on the phone while they processed every single piece of paperwork that it took them 10 minutes to do, that they seemed to not be able to do in a week. But by the time I got off the phone with them, my phone had shipped. So I did not care anymore. I tracked it. It is in the same town as me. It is on a UPS truck, and it is due to me by the end of the day today. I'm so excited because I am over this whole loaner thing, because I can't personalize it. I can't, put my background on it, my ringtone. It's it drives me nuts. So that is finally coming back. I got new furniture yesterday. I got a new couch and a new coffee table, and I am absolutely in love. My couch is one of those really wide couches that when you take the back cushions off, it becomes like a bed, you can lay on it. I absolutely love it. It is the perfect cuddle couch, because two people can literally comfortably be on it, and you're not you're on me, get off me, oh my god, quit elbowing me. You have that cuddle couch disease where you get all excited because you're gonna cuddle with somebody on a couch, and you're like, oh yay, we're gonna cuddle and watch a movie. And then 10 minutes in, you're like, okay, my arm's dead. Can you lift your arm to the side? Okay, babe, lay still, just don't move. My couch, you don't have a problem with that, because you can take the back cushions off and they can snuggle into the back, and you can curl up with them, and oh, it's just the best money I've ever spent. Now, I'm missing the cuddle factor. But whatever. Another story, another day. I don't really care. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my cuddling dilemma, or the fact that I don't have a phone yet, or the fact that I don't have my tripod back. We are here for What Should I Do Wednesday, which is where I answer all of your general paranormal related questions that you guys ask me all up on the Facebook. And we just have a couple of questions today, but they're really good ones. And one of them is more of a rant, because I'm so sick of hearing about it. But we're going to do it and get it over with so that I feel better and that you guys get information. And yeah, so here we go. Our first question is from Miss Bobby and Merritt, and she asked me, order of sanctity. Some saints are said to have a floral scent after death. What would cause them to have this, and do you believe it's a holy sign? This is one of those fine lines of belief or not. I think it's very possible. I don't believe that anything is impossible. I think everything is possible. I've heard of this where a saint will die and they will, not decay. Their body will not decay like a normal human being does after they die. And their body emits a floral scent, usually of roses. And it is just one of these, and they believe it's a holy sign. It's a holy symbol that person is so holy in the eyes of the Lord that their body is unable to decay. It's just kind of they're able to be enshrined forever. Do I believe in it? Of course. I think that it's very possible. I've seen documentaries on it. I've heard stories about it. What causes it? I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those things that are just not to be explained. If it's just a holy aspect of life that we don't understand, that we're not meant to understand, but meant to just take in and capture and say, oh, just kind of, it's that piece of hope that people have. If something like that can happen, then it instills hope in humanity, which, face it, there's not a lot of that left in the world. People do things every day that make me shake my head. So like steal an iPhone from a gas station, for no reason at all. I think that when something like this happens, you kind of get this divine miracle. You know, you hear of a story happening that, you know, a baby is born, you know, dead, or it's a stillborn baby, and then, you know, a mother's touch can bring it back to life. Or you hear of, you know, someone who shouldn't have ever walked again or talked again or did anything, and now they're running a half marathon. You know, you have these little glimmers of hope in society. And I think that the Order of Sanctity and things like that is just another glimmer of hope when you see someone that passes away who is a saint and who devotes their life to religion and God, and then this happens to them. You know, you smell flowers, and their body doesn't decay, and it doesn't seem to disintegrate, and doesn't seem to go away. I think that gives people hope for something better tomorrow. So I think it's just one of those really awesome mysteries that we're not meant to understand. And I think in time, it's going to continue to happen, and it's going to continue to be present. And I think it's just God's way of saying, hey, you know what? I'm here. In some way, shape, or form, I am here, and this is proof. And so either take it or leave it, believe it or don't, but here it is. So yeah, I think it's just one of those really cool things that you either believe or you don't. And if you experience, I think if you've something you have to experience firsthand or really do some research into to really understand it. But I think it's just one of those really awesome mysteries of life that isn't fully meant to be understood, but fully meant to be researched, accepted, and kind of fawned upon. So really awesome question. That's something that we've never really touched on, and I really, 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 really like it. Our next question is not really a question, but more of a continuation from last week as more events have come to light. And it's kind of how I'm going to end What Should I Do Wednesday, because this is going to go long and I'm going to just ramble and rant because it's driving me effing nuts. So, as I mentioned in last week's video, there was this game where you took 2 pencils and a sheet of paper. And you called out to this thing named Charlie. And apparently, these pencils would move. Yes or no. Like a Ouija board. Blanchett. But they would move on their own. You didn't have to touch them. They would just move. So it swept the world like wildfire. And with that came everything out of the woodwork. My daughter and her friends did the Charlie game, and now they're not sleeping. And now they're not doing this. And now they're not doing that. And of course, it just heightened everybody's emotions and everybody's opinions on Ouija boards and spirit boxes and games of the supernatural. And I did a little like PSA last week about how you don't mess with Ouija boards, you don't mess with these kinds of things, because you never know what you're doing. You never know what you're truly opening, what you're truly getting yourself into. You just don't know. So this week, it's come out that this Charlie game was sent out by someone in the bigwigs of Hollywood to promote a movie coming out called The Gallows. Now, I have not seen a preview for this. I'm going to watch a trailer for it later. Apparently, it's a movie that pertains to this game, and it comes out in July. That's all I know at the moment. So a lot of questions have been asked on our page and to me about, well, what about the people who have come to the page saying, hey, I'm having an experience with this? Are those fake too? It's hard to say. You don't really know. Somebody had to have come up with this idea. It was either an idea birthed in Hollywood, for the purpose of scaring people, or, which more than likely is the case. But that does not mean that what you're doing is not awakening something. Just like a Ouija board. A Ouija board's first intentions were never, ever, ever for evil. They were to contact your loved ones. They were a way to communicate with the dead. over time, people have noticed that the more you deal with them, the more that you work with them, that tends to lead more toward evil. You have more negative experiences with a Ouija board than you do positive ones. So while the game itself, Charlie, whoever, whatever, was intended for a marketing ploy for Hollywood for this movie, we don't know if it's unfortunately awakening something that's been lying dormant. The thing about spirit activity is that in paranormal activity, is it can lie dormant for years, never ever affect anybody, and then the right person comes into the right environment and it's World War III in the paranormal world. I mean, you know, you hear it all the time in families who experience paranormal activity in a home. Well, we lived there for 25 years and never experienced anything. Awesome. That doesn't mean that the people who moved into the home now are crazy. That means that they are the right people in the right environment for this spirit to be attached to. Heck, the kid could look like the dead person's son, and then they're instantly attracted. That's it. That's all it takes. And it just irritates me because people don't understand that the potential for paranormal activity lies in everything we do. And I don't think you really understand that until you dive into the world of paranormal activity and you dive into the world of the unknown. For people who don't care about this stuff, for people who don't give, you know, two shits about whether or not their house is haunted, or, you know, they try to debunk everything that happens, even if their house, you know, their coffee pot is flying across the room. Oh, it was the wind. Then they're not gonna think about it on the wavelength that I do or that anyone else on our page does, because that's what we do. This is who we are. This is what we love. This is what we find interesting, is the paranormal and all things into it. So we look deeper than the surface on everything. When a paranormal claim comes across, we look at it. We analyze it. We investigate it. We try to debunk it. You know, we're not always gonna say, oh, it's paranormal. Because there are things that are not. But I think with this Charlie thing, it may be a case of mass hysteria, where this comes out and people do it and somebody has a legit experience and now everybody's having experiences because one person had an experience. That does two things. That generates hysteria, generates fear, and discredits the person who had the experience, because now everybody's having an experience. So this one person who may have actually had a legitimate paranormal experience has now lost credibility because everybody else is having experiences, and that's not possible. You cannot have these experiences, you know, unless this Charlie thing is legit real across the board. You know, you don't know where this idea was birthed from in the first place. Like I said, if it was birthed from a writer in Hollywood, has the writer had an experience? Or is this just something of imagination? So it's really, really hard to say now that this whole Hollywood thing, oh, it was a promo for a movie that's coming out in July. Sorry, not sorry. Well, what about these tens of thousands of people who have done this stupid game and now, you know, are having experiences? Did you open Pandora's box by even doing this? So it's hard to say whether this is just straight up Hollywood mass hysteria or it's a legitimate thing. I think time will tell. It will be a situation of, you know, it kind of goes back to The Ring. You go back to all these movies that mess with your mind, which are the paranormal movies that I don't like. They scare the crap out of me, to be honest. When The Ring came out, I remember when the movie The Ring came out. You think about the movie and the phone call and the 7 days and the whole, it was mass hysteria. Everybody was afraid to answer their damn phone because at that time, people still had like home phones, like landline phones. We didn't live off cell phones, you know? And so and your phone would ring and it would scare you to freaking death. I would hear that. I was like, whoa, Jesus. I didn't want to answer the phone for weeks. Because it gets just into your brain. Or the same thing with that movie Cabin Fever. Like, a lot of people don't remember it, but I watched it in the theater and it scared me to death. I was like 16, and I think that's probably why it scared me to death. I wouldn't drink tap water for like a year. It was like filtered to the nth degree, bottled. I was not going to get some flesh-eating virus that was going to kill me. No. It was just, it screwed with my head, and I was not okay. No shame. I'm not afraid to admit it. I was not okay. Blair Witch Project, same thing. Would not go in the woods forever. Like, I did not want to take the chance of something, you know, like that happening. So I think that this is just a prime example of Hollywood mass hysteria. So bravo, Hollywood, bravo. You have now given society another reason to pee their pants on a daily basis. I think a lot of people go into it with a preconceived agenda that those pencils are going to move, and then they move. Even if it was completely debunked. Now, I'm not saying that the people who have come across our page or anywhere else are faking it. I'm not going to say that. I don't know your experience. I don't know your history. So there's my little blurb. I'm not discrediting anybody. Because people can have paranormal experiences with anything. So if you have experienced something legitimate following playing this game, I can't say that you haven't awakened anything. That you just haven't used another piece of information that have attracted spirits to you. That does not mean that there's not crazies in the world, because they do exist. But the ones that have come across our page and have asked for advice, we're not discrediting you. I'm not discrediting you. I think that at the end of the day, this game was generated for the purpose of Hollywood. However, that being said, that does not mean that it did not unintentionally awaken something that was not to be messed with. And I think in time we will find out the truth one way or another. Is Charlie real, or is it just a game for Hollywood? I'm not playing it to find out, so don't ask me to. I don't mess with Ouija boards. I don't mess with spirit pencils. I don't mess with any of that crap. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to fight off demons. I fight off enough crazies every day. I do not have time to fight off demons coming out at me from a pencil eraser. I don't have time. I'm dealing with it. No. But that is all I have for What Should I Do Wednesday. I will be back for GA Flashback Friday, where I recap one of our past episodes of Ghost Adventures for you guys. So until then, stay happy, stay healthy, enjoy the springtime sunshine. I will see you guys on Friday. Much love and happiness.